Councillor Dr. Zahid Chauhan's scumbag solicitors gave me 48 hours to respond. They have now been investigated by the Solicitors Regulatory Authority, the SRA, to whom I've complained, because they attempted to bully and intimidate me. I don't particularly care how posh you are or how rich you are. You'll get absolutely the same treatment as everyone else gets. So, as we approach Christmas, in the spirit of goodwill to my Pakistani brethren, Councillor Fida Hussain, Shoaib Akhtar, and all the others, I give you 7 days. And if Dr. Chauhan has not apologized, not to me, if Dr. Chauhan has not apologized within 7 days to the people of Royton, to the people of Failsworth, I will release what I have been holding back for the last 3 years. And what I have is worse, in its own way, worse than anything I have released so far.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011, he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.
A very good evening. It is Monday, the 5th of December. My apologies to those of you who were expecting me yesterday. I did tell everyone on the last transmission that I wouldn't be doing the Sunday, this Sunday that's just gone, for a couple of reasons, really. One is I am a football fan and England were playing, so it's as simple as that. But no, actually for the real reason was it was my daughter's birthday party. She's 8 years old on Tuesday, so we had a party for her, and well, those of you who've got children or grandchildren will remember what it's like. Well, I'd like to think you remember what it's like to be 8 years old, a little princess and 8 years old. So I had other priorities, I'm afraid. So I apologise for those of you who were expecting me yesterday. I did post. I know my Facebook posts are censored at the moment. I think they're going to be censored for another 4 or 5 months. Completely malicious, completely fabricated. Apparently I was inciting terrorism or some sort of bollocks. But yeah, if I had been inciting terrorism, I think I would have been arrested 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. It's complete nonsense, but it's nonsense by people with power and influence. So that's why that's played out. I am deadly serious, by the way, to Councillors Shoaib Akhtar, Councillors Fida Hussain, Naira Islam, all the others. You know what I've got. And if you don't know what I've got, you need to go and ask people, and they'll tell you what I've got. McMahon, of course, is this high deep in what I've got. And what I've got, so we're very clear, has been persistently had me chased up, persistently been chased with it, to the point where 2 weeks ago I received a letter in the post from someone anonymous making reference to it. Guys, you need to understand. I've got moves. I think by now you accept I have moves. And I've been holding this one back for nothing to do with any personal loyalty or anything to anyone. I've been holding this one back because I know how damning it is. And in this business, timing is everything. So, lads, Choan apologises to the people of Royton. You can take me to court and do whatever he wants. I'll go through that later today. It's not about me. Choan apologises to the people of Royton and the people of Failsworth because I'll stick up for them. Even though their own councillors won't stick up for them, I will stick up for the people of Failsworth and I'll stick up for the people of Royton. Chohan, in his capacity as senior partner of those damning Care Quality Commission reports and his whatever business arrangements, he needs to apologise to the people of Failsworth, to the people of Royton for the failures in his medical centres. And if your Pakistani mate doesn't apologise, then I will release shit on all of you that'll screw all of you up. Watch me. Absolutely watch me. A very, very, very good evening. I think I've said hello to most people up there. Let's get on with tonight's transmission. Right, I keep forgetting to do this, so my apologies. I have booked a table at the Milan. There's a special section they've set aside for us. It was going to be the 13th, but there's a football game on, so it won't be the 13th. It'll be Tuesday the 20th. I've timed it so it's like our finishing Sunday night transmission sort of thank you, and it's a chance for all of us to get together and have a meal just prior to Christmas. So those of you who are interested, please drop me a message and I'll arrange payments and stuff. I make nothing from it. You'll see yourselves if you get there. I think it is £25 a person. It's a full-on meal. I'll obviously do a presentation and a talk and do a transmission-y type live thing in front of all of you whilst I'm there. Includes a drink. I've chatted to the guys there and they'll host us. So if any of you are interested, then please get in touch. We can accommodate up to 30 people. I'd like to think there's at least a couple of dozen of you who'd want to come and share a meal with me before we wrap up. So please drop me a message. £25 each, and that'll include a drink. I think it's a 5-course meal, 3-course meal, coffee, sweets, all of that sort of stuff, and the lads will take care of us. So please, by all means, drop me a message and hopefully I will get to see you in real life, because this is difficult. This is, me talking in front of a camera every week without really meeting any of you is a challenge for me, if I'm honest with you. So please, it'd be nice to have a meal with you rather than see you when I'm in court or at something horrible. Okay. That's the invitation out of the way. I need to show you something. So I've not been well. I'm still full of phlegm and stuff, but I haven't been well. I had food poisoning. I was fine for a couple of days, and then I'd clearly caught the flu. I caught a bug, and I was really poorly for a week or so. And my friend Moyeb phoned me. I've not seen him actually because he'd gone on his 5-week tour. When he got back, I'd arranged to meet him for some food. But he cancelled on me because his youngest son, Yakub, was ill. So I'd just not seen him. So he phoned me up and I wanted some air. When you're starting to feel better and you want some air and you want some fresh air in your lungs. So I'd gone out. I'd gone into town for a walk. And we went to Twinnies, I think it's called, near where the Candlelight Club is, round that end of Oldham. So went upstairs and he fed me some desi breakfast. I talked to the young woman who owned it, and she'd never met me before. She came in with her niece, I think, and I'm sat there laughing to myself because she'd never met me before. Her family I know from Clarkwell, the Das family I've known since I was very, very small. I used to sit in their in their flat. It was on Clarkwell Close, 40 years ago. So I daren't tell her. I knew her from there. But anyway, So I'm sat there, and Moab took a picture. Because Moab does that. He takes pictures of people having food. It's Moab's thing, isn't it? You know, if any of you follow him on Facebook, he's always got a picture of him with some food. So Moab took a picture of him with some food, of himself with some food. And he took a picture of me. And I had my watch on, this watch on. In the scheme of things, I suppose it is an expensive watch. It's 20 years old, by the way. And there's an interesting story as to how I acquired this watch. It involves a young man called Lee. I won't share his surname because it'd be unfair. You know, 20 years ago, a lot can happen to someone in 20 years. But he was a young man who'd lost his way. And another friend of mine introduced me to him and said, this lad needs our help. He started a cleaning business. And can we help him out? So we did. So I hired him at the offices to be the cleaner there. I hired him to clean for me. Not that I needed any cleaning, but I hired him to clean for me. And he ended up, as any of the young people who've worked with us will tell you, you end up becoming part of our family. And he ended up living with my brother for a while. So that's anyway, Lee didn't leave his old habits behind. And he stole all my watches. Now, some of them were really old. They weren't really worth a lot, but some of them were really old and meant a lot to me. So he disappeared. I genuinely hope life's worked out better for him and he's found his way. I hold no malice towards a young man who stole some watches from me. And the insurance company clearly paid out. And what the insurance company did was they gave me vouchers because the watches I had, they couldn't replace. So I had, I think it was something like £5,000 or £6,000 worth of Beaverbrooks vouchers, or Ernest Jones, Beaverbrooks, I think it was. So I went there thinking, well, I don't really want anything from there because it's, you know, my watches are they're nostalgic. They have meanings. They have meaning to me. You know, I don't really wear jewelry, as you can see, but the things I own have meaning to me, have value for me for a completely whole host of other reasons. But there was this watch. It was a Monaco watch. I think it was, is it Steve McQueen wore one of these? Yeah, so I thought, well, okay, it's the best I can do. And I put to it, with the insurance money, I put to it. Why am I sharing you this story about this watch? I need to low emails or messages Moab to have a go at him about my watch being expensive. I need to low. If you have an issue with me wearing any watch, one, it's none of your business. But two, have the guts to message me and not harass one of my mates. Have the decency to contact me and speak to me. Anita is not a subscriber. She doesn't pay for anything here. She hasn't done for some time. She harasses me every now and then, and I've completely ignored her. But it's fine. I've ignored her because she's harassing me. But I think you cross a line when you start to harass my friends. It's completely unacceptable. And that's exactly what it is. It's pathetic, Julie. Now, the problem with people like Anita and a few of the others, if you can do this, do it. Do it. I'll subscribe to you. Set yourself up and do it. I'll subscribe to you. I'll encourage you. I'll support you. Watch me. Because I know how hard this is. But you have no right. You have no right to harass my friends. None whatsoever. Okay, let's get on with this evening's transmission. Latif Chowdhury is one of those It's got a brown nose, hasn't it? So let's leave it at that, yeah? The Labour Party won't give him a position. He's like my friend Marif. He hasn't got enough clout with the cartels. So they won't give him one of the seats. So he's forever taking photographs. And here he is promoting Arooj Shah in St. Mary's. And you can see this is the St. Mary's cohort. The councillor there behind Arooj Shah with the flat cap and the solitary white face is Akil Salamat. Akil Salamat, for those of you who don't know, Councillor Akil Ali Salamat, was done for benefit fraud whilst a serving councillor. So this is the quality of this cohort, shall we say. Look at this photograph. Just look at the absence of demographic mix in this photograph. I think there's that. Maybe that's a white woman there. Asian, Pakistani. This is cartel central. This is Pakistan. There's Councillor Feeder there. Pakistani cartel central. All supporting and voting Labour. Arooj Shah. So Arooj Shah is returning. Arooj Shah is returning to St. Mary's. Now, for her to return to St. Mary's, what she had to do, or what Labour had to do, first of all, was force one of the councillors out. So Akil wasn't going anywhere. So they forced out Naila Ibrahim from St. Mary's and shifted her to Werneth. So much for women's rights, yeah? They forced out the woman councillor because what they realised was if Arooj became the third candidate, they'd have trouble. Because Aftab would get in anyway. So the independent Aftab would get in anyway. So after whoever threatened Aftab, so a few of them tried to threaten Aftab, didn't get anywhere. So they had to work out a deal. And the deal is in St. Mary's, Akil Salamat, Arooj Shah and Aftab will get the 3 votes. Because you get 3 different votes. You get 3 votes at the all-outs. So they brought in this woman called Ghazala Rahman, or Ghazala somebody or another, who's just a proxy, as the third Labour Party candidate, knowing full well, because the deals have been done in the background, that they won't get it. That they won't get the 3 Labour votes. So the deal arranged in St. Mary's with the Pakistani cartels is 1 vote for Aftab and 2 votes for Labour, of which one is Akil and the other one is Arooj. How does that make you feel? I don't know if Josh is there. Is Josh there? I don't see him, mate. If you see him, tell me. He's probably taking the photograph. But you can see, it's just disgusting, isn't it? I find it disgusting. I find it disgusting that something like 50 or 60 Pakistanis or, Bangladeshis, whatever, of a specific background will all stand together waving a Vote Labour placard because it's got bugger all to do with Labour. It's to do with cartel politics. And that's what this town has come to. That's what this town has come to. This. Now, they've already given away Glodic swimming baths. It was a black and white case of electoral fraud. You see, I keep saying it. I produced a document on it. No one will come and arrest me for it because the evidence is conclusive. Now, the bent police can do what they want, but they're going to stop me speaking the truth. It was electoral fraud. The council sold assuming BAFs, that Arud Shah had a declared interest with the buyers during the lead up to the election. In another dodgy way. So that's what we have here. Arud Shah is currently doing the tour. She was in Leeds, I think, yesterday with Gordon Brown having a picture took, and they've rewritten history. Her and her team have rewritten history. And the history they've rewritten, there you go. There's Arud Shah, mobster's moll, who had me falsely arrested on the trumped up charges after I exposed her anti-Semitism while she was speaking at an anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish factory gathering where people in the crowd were waving Hamas banners. Had me arrested for that. 9 months later, fails to turn up in court, and the police have no evidence because they fabricated it. And the plan was that by having me arrested and fabricating what they did, Detective Sergeant Christopher Dean and his team of bent police officers thought they would intimidate me from campaigning in Chadderton South. Well, I campaigned in Chadderton South and we defeated her. She still doesn't say a single word about who blew up her car or comment on the video footage, but she was more than willing to comment on the blowing up of her car when it suited her narrative and condemn all of you in this town as racists. So this is the narrative that's being spun, that Arud Shah is a victim of racism. She's not a victim of racism at all. Because if she was a victim of racism, the first lot who kicked her out in St. Mary's were the Pakistanis. Indeed, mate. Indeed. Indeed. So apparently she's been on the commission working for what Keir Starmer's come up with. Bullshit. Anyone who's seen Arud Shah, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Not capable of working on anything, Arud Shah. Just been humoured. Don't even pretend you helped put any policy documents together. We'll all seen your... Yeah, we've all seen your abilities. So that is where we're up to with Arud Shah. Now, Gary's here saying he stood in St. Mary's and came forth. How many votes did he get, Gary? How many votes did he get? Because it is a cartel ward. It's not a criticism. I'm asking you, how many votes did he get? Let's see if I can bring it up whilst we're waiting on Gary. So you stood for UKIP, yeah? $608. Well, you're underselling yourself here, Gary, because what I'm looking at, it says 608. No, the reason why I was asking this, Gary, is there is a very, very easy way of screwing up Arooj Shah's chance of getting re-elected, even in St. Mary's. So the 543 and the 600 votes, give or take. So give or take, you got 600 votes. If we get those 600 votes to vote strategically, we destroy Arooj Shah's chances of winning in St. Mary's. So you get 3 votes. 1 vote for Aftab, 1 vote for Akil Salamat, and the last vote for that Ghazala Rahman girl, lady. Because of 600 votes that you've got, Gary, or, whoever else would have got, if we got them to vote it tactically, it'll boost Ghazala's votes and drop Arooj's votes. And she'd lose. Because the white voters would have gone out and voted for the other candidates on purpose just to keep Arooj Shah out. I can see it now. Hello, my friends in St. Mary's. Hello, Glodig. I always like the Punjabi samosas. Leave me alone. And don't even say it. Don't even dare criticize, because you lot never wanted her in the first place. You voted her out. You voted her out. But that is the way of getting rid of Arooj Shah in St. Mary's, stopping her getting elected. Is strategically educate and campaign in the white areas to vote for the other Asian candidates. It takes some work to do, and I'm afraid I won't be here to do it. But that's what I would have. That's what I would do if I wanted to be a vindictive bastard. That's what I would do. I'd campaign to vote for Akil Salamat, the benefits fraudster. Aftab, and of course Ghazala. I mean, let's find a picture of Ghazala. Is she around anywhere? That's her here. That Ghazala, that? I think that's Ghazala behind. Vote for Ghazala. Look at that face. An honest face. I'd vote for her. I mean, this is just outrageous, isn't it? It's just a bunch of Pakistanis hanging out. This is meant to be integration. This is meant to be, look. Look at that. Popped up on my timeline. 2 of my favourites. Look at that hamster cheek. Oh. Just look at him. Just look at him. And this is the funniest bit. She tags them in and neither of them comment. She tags them in and neither of them comment. Oh. In all seriousness, you're on the verge of having Arooj Shah back in the council chamber. She'll make a move immediately for a leadership position, at the very least deputy leader. At the very least, deputy leader, if not leader. Amanda Chadderton knows, even if she stays in, Arooj Shah will be gunning for her immediately, because Arooj Shah is the mobster's choice. She's McMahon's choice. And she brings the samosas. So, last week before last now, sorry, I'm behind, aren't I? Week before last. Just give me 1 second. I'm just trying to bring it up. I want to bring up the right document so you can see it yourself. Okay. So the Royton Independents host a community meeting at Royton. About 100 people turned up. I think the majority of them were elderly. Some harrowing testimonies were shared by people. There was this one elderly woman holding back tears, talking about what needs to happen there. Does someone need to die before intervention takes place? She shared a story of how she wanted an appointment, couldn't get an appointment. And when she pushed in a polite manner, she received a letter saying she'd been harassing and intimidating the staff. This woman would have been in her 80s. Clearly never been in any form of trouble whatsoever in her life. Her friend, too scared to complain in case he struck her off. Story after story after story. Testimony after testimony. Dr. Chowan wasn't there. Amanda Chadderton wasn't there. Jim McMahon wasn't there. Marie Bashforth wasn't there. The Fails of Independence turned up. Give them their due. Didn't have to. They turned up. They sat and listened. Brian Hoban was there and Mark Wilkinson was there. Dave Arnott, again, to give him his due. Credit where credit's due. I've never been one to shy away from recognising when people do things right, even if I'm not on page with them. Dave Arnott turned up, tried to speak. Maggie wouldn't let him. It's her meeting, her call. I would have probably let him respond or say something, but it wasn't my meeting. I sat there and watched. I understood why she didn't. I understood why he wanted to. But it wasn't my meeting. None of them left. I'd left before all three of them, by the way. So they didn't just turn up just to show their faces. They turned up to contribute. The Fails of Independence and also Dave Arnott. None of the Labour lot were there. Bashforth had apparently tweeted a picture of a wristband because he'd been rushed to hospital. That's Barrelgate Bashforth. Amanda Chadderton was out giving certificates at some school. This is what she had to say. I'll let you read this whilst, because I don't think you want me. You can see there, amandachadderton.oldham, yeah. Let me just bring it up so we can just see. There you go. That's all of it. I'm just going to go and blow my nose and things like that. But you read this. You read this. On the point of governance and accountability, it is not for Oldham Council to drive any changes at the practice. That's an absolute cop-out. It might be the responsibility of the NHS, but Amanda Chadderton needs to be reminded. Amanda Chadderton needs to be reminded that the purpose of a councillor is to advocate on behalf of the community that's elected them. They don't need to have the power to do anything, but the purpose of why they exist is to advocate on behalf. So that's complete bollocks. And she shows it's bollocks because she then, in the next sentence, she says, last week I met with NHS leaders and representatives from both practices. Straight away, she's including Royton and Crompton family practice unfairly because it's got a good inspection. It's got a good inspection report. So what she's trying to do is get away from her mate, Dr. Chauhan. She's trying to protect him. And in all of this, she makes no reference to him by name. The NHS in Oldham has agreed to provide both practices with the necessary support to aid them in their improvement journey. Well, I don't know about you, but I read the Royton Medical Centre report, and the failings there had got nothing to do with the NHS in Oldham. The failings were entirely a consequence of the actions, the failures, the negligence, whatever word you want to use, the shortcomings of Dr. Zahid Chauhan and his brother, who are the senior partners there. When your staff don't even know who they work for, that's not on the NHS in Oldham. When you don't do your DBS checks, that's not on the NHS in Oldham. Oldham Council will continue to hold the NHS to account on matters of health services in the borough. Some of this may lead to enforcement action of a legal nature or even legal contractual sanctions being placed on the practice. And it is important that we do not prejudice any of that work in any way, as it would become compromised. Bullshit. That's a complete fabrication from Amanda Chadderton. It might, so what she's saying there is, it might come to it one day, we've got to do something, and we can't do anything now in case we've got to do something in a year's time. So what happens, Amanda Chadderton, if you were at that meeting that I was at, where the old woman says, what needs to happen? Does someone need to die first? Is that what needs to happen? Does someone need to die first? Because that's what the lady said. In short, we need to let the relevant NHS bodies do their work. The NHS has been clear that whilst they are absolutely clear about the report and actions needed as a result, well, what are they, they cannot and will not let one practice be treated differently. No one is asking for one practice to be treated differently, are they? We're asking for Amanda Chadderton, in a capacity as Royton councillor and leader of the council, to condemn any medical centre that has multiple statutory breaches. She's talking nonsense. But, she's not first choice council leader, is she? Absolute nonsense. But this is the best bit. Dr. Chauhan's lawyers might like this bit, because they're trying to sue me for saying pretty much this. With regard to the CQ report at Royton Medical Practice, you are right. The report was damning. But I would caution against using inflammatory language or seeking to undermine public confidence in the practice. Absolutely. You should be undermining. We don't need to undermine public confidence in the practice. What are you saying, Amanda Chadington? Are you saying we shouldn't be sharing the Care Quality Commission's report into your mate's medical centre? Is that what you're saying there? Amanda Chadington wants us to stay quiet. If you're at that meeting, Amanda Chadington, you'd already know that public confidence in the practice is already undermined. You're a disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace. They are protecting Chauhan, Denise. You're right. That's exactly what they're doing. I would urge any patient of the practice who has concerns about the way they have been treated to report this to the appropriate channels, either the CQC or Health Watch Oldham. No! You are the counsellor. Your job as a counsellor is to advocate on behalf of your constituents. That is the fundamental role of a counsellor. It's too awkward for you, isn't it? Because you're on the payroll. You're in a position. Your entire position as leader is dependent on McMahon's grace and the Pakistani cartel support. If those samosa nibbling councillors have anything done to interfere with their cosy arrangement, and I'm clear, again to JLL solicitors or whatever those idiots are called, it is a cosy arrangement that Dr. Chauhan enjoys in his medical centres. He does all right out of it, doesn't he? With the various subcontracting arrangements and being on the payroll as the chief executive of an organisation that's paid for by the council. Just what exactly did Oldham Council commission Bardock for? Because I've not got to the bottom of it. Just what exactly have they paid them the best part of £1 million for? Your email does not state the date of the meeting. Understanding is this coming Thursday. She already has another appointment. Well, I'm afraid if I already had another appointment, and it's fine, you've already got another appointment. You're at a school handing out certificates. Easy thing to do, isn't it? Easy thing to do, but you know what you'd do? You know what I would do? Can we find a mutually agreeable time? And I will meet the people of Royton. Here is Amanda Chadington. Here is the leader of Oldham Council refusing to meet the people of Royton. And worse than that, she wants the people of Royton to stay quiet. Stay quiet or else. The council, local NHS bodies and the CQC are doing their bit to improve the practice. Now is the time to let that work play out. Tell that to the old woman and her mates who can't get appointments. Tell that to the people, to the lady who went for an asthma check, for the nurse to say she's not qualified to give the asthma check or to conduct the asthma check. Tell that to the people, and they want to sue me for this, but it wasn't from me. It was actually in that meeting. Tell that to the people in that meeting who believed that their lives were being put at risk and the council was remaining quiet because these surgeries are run by a mate of McMahon's, senior councillor, big voter bank in Alexander. Amanda Chadington's phone number, for those of you who want it. find it. There you go. 07595 201 269. That's 07595 201 269. If you live in Royton, I don't think you all should phone, but if you live in Royton and you're concerned about Royton Medical Centre and Amanda Chadditon's failure to attend a public meeting, I suggest you call her on a mobile phone. The 0161770 number's a waste of time. And amanda.chadditon@oldham.gov.uk, the chances are it won't be her that's replying. I suggest if you live in Royton, you call her. You call your councillor and you ask her why she won't condemn Dr. Chauhan's medical centre and why she's refusing to meet the people of Royton. I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Why is the Royton councillor, who's also the leader of the council, refusing to meet with the people of Royton who have legitimate concerns? What right does she have to tell you to stay quiet? What right does she have? This town, what goes on in this, I'm just continuously staggered. Honestly, I'm continuously staggered by the arrogance and the contempt with which they hold the people with. People who vote for them. People who pay their council tax. People who live here. And Amanda Chadditon and her mates hold you with contempt. I think that's how I'm reading it, isn't it? And there's the best part of 7,000 people who attend Royton Medical Centre. Failsworth Independent Party have put a statement out on their Facebook page saying they've met with representatives of the medical centre in Failsworth. I'm sorry, lads, it's not enough. Who have you met with? What are you all scared of? Who have you met with in Failsworth? What were the discussions? I know Dr. Chauhan's powerful. I know Oldham Council are powerful. And I know his lawyers are very expensive. It's the same in Leeds. There's a medical centre in Leeds. Care Quality Commission report last week. Requires improvement in every category. Multiple statutory breaches. Well, come on then, Lib Dems. Come on, Councillor Kenyon. Al-Hamdani. Where are your comments? These are elderly people who vote for you. Where's your condemnation? Where's your criticism? Where's your support for your constituents? Multiple statutory breaches. Medical centre in Leeds. In its own way, as horrific as Royton. At least Royton got good in 2 categories. This one's got requiring improvement across every single category. Absolutely nothing. Not a single criticism from Al-Hamdani or Kenyon or the other new councillor, and sorry I've forgotten her name. Well, I'm sorry, Pauline, it's horrific, and I'll go through the findings. I'll try and go through them one lunchtime or one morning during the week, in the same way I did with Royton and Failsworth. Another lawyer can write to me and threaten to sue me. Why? Because I'm reading things out and explaining and giving my opinions on them. You've heard it there, in her own words. Amanda Chadditon wants it covered up. What else does that mean? seeking to undermine public confidence in the practice. So telling people that this surgery is inadequate in its governance, that it didn't conduct DBS checks, that forms were signed before they were meant to be signed, that the staff didn't know who they were working for, that medicine disappeared. That's not me undermining them. That's a comprehensive failing. And it's got bugger all to do with COVID. Particularly when the managing GP, whatever he is, has 18 businesses or 17 businesses, as well as being a councillor with an aspiration to become MP. I think it's very clear why they're failing. Jim McMahon wrote something similar. His was hilarious. I'll bring it up. Unfortunately, I will be unable to attend the meeting. Why? When was the last time anyone saw Jim McMahon in a meeting in Royton? When was the last time any of you saw Jim McMahon at a community event in Royton? I have previously expressed my concern about the pressure being faced by our health system. This has got nothing to do with the pressure being faced by the health system. Not doing your DBS checks has got bugger all to do with pressure being faced by the health system. Across Oldham, our hospital has been judged requires improvement. Well, she's not written to you about the hospital. The excuse, they're failing, so it's okay if his failing, has no credibility ever, anywhere, and never will do. We have 8 care homes and 4 primary care practices with the same inspection outcome too. Well, what does that say? It doesn't say it's got any... It's nothing to do with the pandemic. Following the CQC inspection in Royton, I have sought and received assurances from the practice that the findings of the inspection have been acknowledged. I acknowledge them. What does that mean? Acknowledged? And there is a plan in place to ensure all aspects of care are to the highest standards possible. If there was a planning in place, as a leader, Dr. Chauhan should be sharing that plan with his patients. Instead, he's buggered off on holiday, hasn't he? If there was a plan in place, and I'm drawing a salary as the main man, 100 grand, 150 grand here, 100 grand, 150 grand there, another 150 grand somewhere else, subcontracted to my own companies, third-party payments from the not-for-profit I'm involved in over £500,000. If there was a plan in place, you should be facing the people of Royton, facing the people of Failsworth, and sharing what that plan is. As a local MP, you receive concerns from constituents about access to primary care appointments across the country. It wasn't about appointments, Jim. Ooh, but I was in hospital for 2 weeks and I saw firsthand how the health system is under immense strain. You're in a hospital bed, you pillock. And staff working hard to keep things going. Oh, underpaid staff working things hard, frontline staff not given the resources. Does anyone here believe Dr. Chauhan has not had more than his fair share of resources? Is there anyone here who feels Dr. Chauhan has not had more than his fair share of resources? And his cop-out, if any patients are he'll be willing to help them on a case-by-case basis. You know why that's bullshit? It's because he's again hiding his mate Dr. Chowan. Do you see? He's protecting his mate Dr. Chowan. Do you think for 1 minute this man was on a ward? Should have said, Jim. I'd have sent some samosas round. I'd have brought him round myself. I'd have fed him, you Jim. Yeah. Absolute dimwit. Absolute dimwit. I think what Amanda Chadderton and Jim McMahon's emails demonstrate is just how powerful Dr. Chowan is. For neither of them to be willing to criticize him or even name him, I think that speaks volumes. For those joining us this evening, this is a delayed episode 6. I'm afraid I couldn't send it out last Sunday, and yesterday I had other plans. So we're over a week late with this. I am planning on getting another one squeezed in on Thursday about the most corrupt council in the country. Oldham, clearly. Just putting the finishing touches to that, and that'll go on Thursday. And that'll catch us up. So next Sunday will be our penultimate transmission. 8 of the last 9. I put something out all the time, so we've not got there, and I don't think we're going to get there. Part of this morning, I was at the job centre, so that's where I was this morning. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to any of you. I accept 100% there are people who cannot afford to support me, which is why I've made it all free to air. Say, okay, all the content goes out for free. And the 50 by 50 was ambitious, but it was an aspiration, because what we've got is a need to continue till May, but actually May's not going to get you where you want. It's another 2 years after that. That's the truth of it, because the next elections are 2 years after that, and a general election as well. So there's another 2.5, 3 year commitment is what's really been asked of me. And what my aspiration was to do, and just anything over minimum wage would be good. But when we can't get people to commit to 75 pence a week, and I accept people have challenges, but no, I'm not. I'm not for that. I don't think it's that hard for people to commit 75 pence a week when they're taking value, when thousands watch this content, view this content, or take from this content to benefit themselves and their organizations, or to promote themselves, use my content to amplify themselves and all the hard work I do. It's worth 75 pence a week, and most people can afford 75 pence a week. Forget the 50 by 50, most people can afford 75 pence a week. So, if you're finding this transmission of value, please press the like, share. If you have the means and you're one of the 171 who are currently viewing, consider buying me a coffee. We have 3 more transmissions after this. Thursday the first one, Sunday the second one, and the last one the Sunday after. Yeah. I priced it in a way to try and make it as accessible as possible, Nikki. And I am genuinely heartbroken that after everything I've put out for as long as I've put it out, that we've not got... some people have given loads. Some people have signed up to the 50 by 50 straight away. Some people have come back and said, I'll put 25 in and my mate will put 25 in. Some existing members have come together in groups of 5 and said, there you go, between us 5 there's 50. Great, brilliant. I'm thankful, and I'll be forever thankful. But I'm not accepting the. I'm not accepting the. We can't afford 75 pence a week. But we'll consume the content. Thanks, mate. I'm going to come back in a second. I'm just going to top up my drink. I'll come back in a second. And I've got Dr. Chauhan's lawyer's letter. You like Dr. Chauhan's lawyer's letter? Okay, so I've got one person so far for the meal on the 20th. Please, I have booked it for 30 people. Oh, up to 30 people. I'd like to think, at least a dozen of you would like to come and share a Christmas meal with me before we finish. So if you're able to get there, drop me a message and I will put your name down. I'm looking for Tuesday the 20th is the idea, probably about 7 o'clock. And it'll be fun. It'll be a fun way to wrap this up. Okay, let's get on with this. So this lot, first of all, sent me an email. So here's the email. Strictly private and confidential, not for publication. Gemma Fleetwood is her name. Strictly private and confidential, not for publication. See that? You have no right to threaten to sue me and tell me I can't tell people about it. And the SRA are very clear that you should not have done that, Gemma Fleetwood. So I put Gemma Fleetwood's photograph on Twitter. These bullies, that's what they are, bullies. Let's get on with what they had to say. So you can see their client, and again, strictly private and confidential. We act for Medlock Medical Practice, Reuter Medical Practice, and Dr. Zahid Chauhan together our clients. So 3 of them are their clients. So that suggests immediately that Medlock Medical Practice and Reuter Medical Practice, as in you, because they get the income from the public purse, are paying these solicitors firm. And this solicitors firm also is the official Oldham Council. No, you're right, Oldhamite. It's the least people could do. It's clicking like. It's the least people could do, but they don't, mate. So what do you want me to say? Please acknowledge receipt of this letter, so you can see that, and the enclosed undertakings within 48 hours. So they want me to respond within 48 hours. You may wish to take legal advice to stop our clients required to take to avoid the issue of legal proceedings. Apparently, this letter is because of the seriousness of the statements are published online and the impact on our client's business. Apparently, I've had a serious impact on Dr. Chauhan's business. How have I had a serious impact on Dr. Chauhan's business? Again, this threat, if you fail to adequately respond to this letter within the 48-hour period, we expect to be instructed to issue an injunction against me to prohibit you from making any further false and misleading statements relating to our client. So they're claiming I've made false and misleading statements. Medlock and Reuter are both medical practices situated in the borough of Oldham. As you know, Dr. Chauhan is a medical doctor, a general practitioner, and a partner in Medlock and Reuter. Well, thank you for confirming he's a partner, particularly in Reuter, because his name was taken off. He is also a councillor for Oldham Council and a member of the Labour Party. As a doctor working for the National Health Service, Dr. Chauhan is a trusted public figure. Thank you. It wasn't me that received the poor CQC reports. He did that all by himself. The public place a significant amount of trust and confidence in our clients. So why aren't your clients facing up to the public? The statements made by you have therefore caused extremely serious and significant harm to our clients and their reputations. Remember, all I did was go through the CQC report and make it and disclose to the public, expose. They objected to me using the word expose, by the way, that of Dr. Chauhan's role at Reuter Medical Centre. Apparently, I operate these 3 pages, the Recusant 9 Facebook page, something on Twitter, and the YouTube. Apparently, I host a podcast on Spotify. I've never hosted a podcast on Spotify. But on my webpage, you purport to be providing, inverted commas, a platform to articulate and raise the legitimate concerns of working class groups that mainstream politicians and policy makers have forsaken. You also purport to have been responsible for ousting various Labour Party figures and suggest that various political leaders have sought to silence your work. What any of this has got to do with JLL solicitors, I don't know. To that end, you appear to have grievances with various members of the Labour Party. What absolute bollocks! It's clear what I have. You've said it there. You've said it there. what I do. I provide a platform to articulate and raise the legitimate concerns of working class groups that mainstream politicians and policy makers have forsaken. That's what I do. Whilst you propose to be working to expose local government corruption, and your posts, particularly in relation to our clients, are obviously untrue and misleading. Despite prior communications with our clients, that's completely fabricated. There's been no prior communications with your clients. They've never contacted me. You have continued to conduct a smear campaign. So me sharing with you the findings of the CQC report is me conducting a smear campaign. And I've published defamatory material. So they go through what they claim I've done. Given the extent of social media posts, we do not seek to repeat the social media posts in full, and we are unable to generate all content which refers to our clients. Instead, we refer to the very serious allegations made in turn. So allegation A. Relating Royton putting lives at risk, allegations of misconduct and being a death trap, with reference to Royton CQC inspection. There was an old woman at that public meeting who made specific reference to lives put at risk. Allegations of misconduct. Well, I don't make any allegations. It's in terms of, I don't know if misconduct is the right word, but the failings are there. The failings, has that naughty CQC been telling lies? Exactly, mate. Exactly. I refer to it as a death trap, and I have used the term death trap. You also make reference to the Quality Care Commission. Derogatory comments. Well, I'm afraid me making derogatory comments is not libelous. And the term death trap, I've quantified. It's the Oxford Dictionary definition, not the definition you've sneaked in here, which I'll find and show people, but the Oxford Dictionary definition that I also shared with people. So I didn't leave it to ambiguity. I was clear on using the term death trap, what I actually meant, which is the definition in the Oxford Dictionary. And I'll just bring that up. Just so we're all clear, I will bring that up. Typed it in Google. Death trap. A place, structure, or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. That's what the word means in the dictionary. You can see it there. A place, structure, or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. And it is my position, based upon what I've read from the Care Quality Commission's report, and I'm allowed to hold this opinion because I've not just plucked it out from thin air, that Royton Medical Centre is potentially very dangerous. I know it's uncomfortable, but me having that opinion based upon the Care Quality Commission's report, yeah, try it. We assume you have carefully studied the CQC report, and we remind you that Royton was rated good in 2 categories. Well, I don't care that you want to remind me that Royton was rated good in 2 categories, because I've also made reference to how Royton was rated good in 2 categories. And likewise, I've made specific reference to the statutory breaches that the CQC found. The statutory breaches. Whilst Royton and our clients generally acknowledge there is the requirement for improvement, the false allegations, well, what's the false allegation? Go far beyond any improvement action required by the CQC report. No. The leader of Oldham Council in an email has confirmed that she agrees that the CQC report was damning. The leader of Oldham Council agrees that the CQC report was into Royton Health Centre was damning. It's not a weak word, is it? So Amanda Chariton used the word condemn. Damning. On 8th of November 2022, in a Facebook post, he referred to Dr. Chauhan covering up the risk to lives of elderly residents, hiding the direct Labour Party links to Royal Medical Centre, and refer to the CQC horrific findings. Well, the CQC horrific findings, I think the term horrific findings, I find that horrific. Does anyone believe that I'm going to be sued for reading that CQC report and reading its findings and determining that they were horrific? I doubt it. Now, on the Facebook page, I refer to Dr. Chauhan covering up the risk to lives of elderly residents and the direct Labour Party links with Royton. You can misquote me if you want, but if you want to sue me, the entire post will have to go up, and you'll find that how you're trying to spin it, Gemma, is not. You're not going to get away with it. There is also reference to the lives of thousands of Royton folk being put at risk. Well, that surgery has 6,000 patients on its roll register, and it has multiple statutory breaches. You also compare our client's conduct to covering up child abuse. Actually, I do know such thing. I actually know such thing. I refer specifically to Oldham Council's, the politicians' refusal to speak out on this. So it's not your client I'm making reference to in that post. It's the councillors who've refused to speak out. So I'm happy for you to use that Facebook post, because I'll show you exactly what that Facebook post says. The post also includes a link to the following YouTube video titled Royton Medical Centre Medical Care Mirpur Style. Well, Dr. Chauhan's on record as saying he's from Mirpur and how proud he is that he's from Mirpur. It's how he defended himself when he announced his position as deputy mayor in Mirpur. Not in Oldham, but in Mirpur. The video clearly refers to our client Royton and makes reference to lives being put at risk by the practice and failures relating to obtaining appropriate DBS checks, which you say basically means a rape gang member or convicted sex offender, look how they stop there, would be able to obtain employment at the practice and have access to children and the elderly. You also refer in your Facebook post sharing the video that has been viewed by nearly 500 people. Well, you can go online and see how many people have viewed it, but let me go back for this. Why were DBS checks introduced, people? DBS checks were introduced to protect, to make sure that inappropriate people with dangerous convictions could not access children of vulnerable individuals. That's why DBS checks were introduced. So if DBS checks aren't conducted, and the Care Quality Commission confirms DBS checks weren't conducted, does it not mean that a convicted sex offender could be hired? Is that on me? You should have carried out your DBS checks. This averment, is entirely fabricated. How is it completely fabricated? The Care Quality Commission confirmed DBS checks had not been carried out. I've not gone out to cause serious harm to your client's reputation. I'm outraged that your client has been hiring staff without DBS checks. Because as someone who's worked with children and vulnerable adults all my life, I know the risks that poses. We understand reference to DBS checks relates to the CQC inspection, and the system for DBS checks requires improvement. So you're admitting it. The CQC report does not state that our client employs convicted criminals. I did not state that your client employs convicted criminals. To make these false allegations is very serious indeed. These allegations are likely to... Okay, let's look back at exactly what I've said according to your own post. Basically means a rape gang member, a convicted sex offender, would be able to obtain employment at the practice. Whether have I said that Royton Medical Centre employs convicted criminals? I haven't, have I? But you've admitted yourselves in the DBS failings, and it's there in black and white in the Care Quality Commission. They're not allegations. It's in the CQC report. It's in the sentence beforehand. Your client didn't carry out DBS checks. Apparently what I've done will cause significant distress in the minds of their clients' patients, many whom are vulnerable people. Well then, meet with them. Meet with them and apologise for your failings and say you've now fixed it. Instead of wasting your time going to lawyers to write to me, why don't you meet with your patients in a public meeting, Dr. Chauhan, and apologise and share with them, as you've shared with Jim McMahon, the steps you've taken to fix it. Let's carry on. You also make reference to Dr. Chauhan and Royton employing staff that are not adequately qualified, failing to record complaints, which is evidence of a cover-up, and the CQC calling a senior partner a liar. We understand you are referring to Dr. Chauhan in this instance. I wasn't referring to Dr. Chauhan. I'm very clear. I don't know who it is. I don't know who it is because they use the term senior partner. I don't know who it is. It is extremely serious to suggest that our clients are acting deceptively and failing to employ appropriate staff. I'm not the one who's suggesting this. I'm reading the Care Quality Commission's own report. As medical practitioners, the public place significant trust and confidence in their clients. Dr. Chauhan is responsible for the treatment of sick and vulnerable people and provides national health services. As such, it is highly damaging for you to continue publicize malicious and unjustified statements related to our client's work. Every statement I'm making in reference to your client's work is extracted from the Care Quality Commission's report. On the 9th of November and the 10th of November 2022, you again posted various tweets referring to Reutern putting lives at risk. Have I made this up? But did the Care Quality Commission not talk about these doctor hot boxes or whatever they were with equipment missing? Am I making this up? Or did the Care Quality Commission not talk about emergency medicine not being there or being lost and not being filed properly? Am I making this up? Or did the Care Quality Commission not identify repeat prescriptions or whatever being signed off without the adequate checks? And so on and so on and so on. They don't like me using the word damning findings. Well, I'm afraid the findings were damning because the leader of Oldham Council, Amanda Chariton, in black and white, has used the word damning. You also refer to Dr. Chauhan having lied. It is not my business. It is not my company. Is that the quote regarding Bardock? It is not my company. You also make a number of allegations relating to members of the Labour Party. This is both untrue and misleading. Well, listen, you stupid woman. I don't care how fancy a solicitor's firm you are. You're not here responsible representing the Labour Party, are you? Let's look at this. Number 24. I can say what I want about the Labour Party. What are you writing to me on behalf of the Labour Party for? Your clients are Medlock Medical Practice, Reutern Medical Practice, and Dr. Zahid Chauhan. So on what basis are you objecting to me criticising the Labour Party? You're not here representing the Labour Party. If the Labour Party want to sue me, bring it on. Come on, Sir Keir Starmer, bring it on. Jimmy Samosa, let's have it. Debbie Abrams, come on. On the 11th of November 2022, you posted to your Facebook page accusing the Oldham Times. Since when was the Oldham Times your client? There is no evidence of patients having horrific experiences. Well, I was in that public meeting and I heard patients share their horrific experiences. My comments are entirely incorrect. Did or did not a senior figure at Reutern Medical Practice repeatedly attempt to mislead the inspector? They presented findings that the inspector said was false. And if it didn't say the report, sorry, if the report didn't say it was false, it clearly said, you know, you showed us this, but we found something completely different. What is that? What is that? And I systematically went through it. I didn't make it up, you know. I systematically went through it line by line. My comments are entirely incorrect. Well, on what basis are my comments entirely incorrect? I accuse the Oldham Times of continuing to help hide Dr. Chauhan's role in Royton Medical Centre. Until I named Dr. Chauhan's role in Royton Medical Centre, the Oldham Times didn't name him. Why didn't the Oldham Times name him? And if the Oldham Times object to me saying they hid it, the Oldham Times can sue me. It's got nothing to do with Royton Medical Centre. Death trap. Well, clearly I quantified what I mean by death trap. And I also tagged Dr. Chauhan and referred to Royton Medical Centre directly in the post. Since when was drawing? You've just already confirmed Dr. Chauhan is responsible for Royton Medical Centre. You've already confirmed that in this correspondence with me. On the 13th of November 2022, you published the following YouTube video titled Defending the Indefensible, as Jim McMahon MP fails to condemn the death trap doctor's surgery. I make false allegations, including apparently you can go and hang out there and do what you want to do without a DBS check. Well, what other conclusion am I meant to draw when you've not had DBS checks, when your staff haven't? Here we go. Trying it on. I refer to pedo and suggest our client employed staff that have sex with grannies. I did no such thing. I don't suggest your client employed staff that have sex with grannies. What I'm demonstrating, what I'm highlighting are the dangers of what happens when you employ staff without DBS checks. Thank you, Salia. What, and anyone who watches that content in its entirety will see what I was making reference to. The dangers of what happens when you hire staff without DBS checks, and Royton Medical Centre hired staff without DBS checks, and worse than that, in its defence, it tried to claim, and forgive me if I've got this wrong, but it tries to claim that you can self-declare what your criminal convictions are. The video also includes an allegation of fraud. I don't allege fraud. And backfilling of paperwork before the inspectors arrived to get the house in order, with reference to ink still being wet. I was hypothesizing. I was ridiculing. Yes. I called it a dodgy doctor's surgery. They're going to sue me for calling it a dodgy doctor's surgery. Well, the CQC found its leadership to be inadequate. When 8 out of the 9 staff believe they work for someone else, I think I'm right to call it a dodgy doctor's surgery. When your staff don't even know who they work for. When the staff don't even know who they work for. The surgery having issues with stock levels and anyone leaving. Well, the surgery does have issues with stock levels, and there was issues around the dangerous drugs. Well, all drugs are dangerous, aren't they? All medicine is dangerous if you took the wrong way. And again, in the CQC report, there's some damning findings about the way in which prescriptions were handed out and repeat prescriptions were handed out. For the avoidance of doubt, Both Royton and Dr. Chauhan have always acted with integrity. The allegations of misconduct, I don't make any allegations of misconduct. I don't make any allegations of criminal conduct, because if they had, you'd have told me what they were. And the use of medications which are not fit for purpose are fiercely denied. We'll take it up with the CQC. Take it up with the CQC. These allegations have caused immense distress for our clients and have a serious impact on our client's reputation. No, the CQC report has a serious impact on your client's reputation. Again, death trap. I tagged in Dr. Chauhan, referred directly to Royal Medical Centre. You also tagged various journalists in your tweets in your attempts to disseminate the false and misleading allegations. I put up the links to the CQC report. I've shared with you, all of you. Every time I've done any of this, I put up the links to the actual reports. On the 15th of November, a further YouTube video was posted by titled "More Reasons to Question Mandy and Her Mirpuri Mare." Death trap, well, I've quantified that. Enabling the employment of sex offenders. So you admit it. You admit it. But I didn't say they hired sex offenders or people who have sex with grannies or anything. But the failure of the DBS checks leaves them open too. And here you go. It leaves them vulnerable to hiring people who sexually assault women. If you've not done a DBS check, how do you not know? Someone with a criminal record of assaulting an elderly people, if you've not done the DBS checks, how do you know? Other criminal convictions including theft, if you've not done the DBS checks, how do you know? Stealing records and selling them, if you've not done the DBS checks, how do you know? Safeguarding is a risk. Mate, the statutory failings made reference to safeguarding. The statutory breaches made reference to that. I don't say your client's engaged in malpractice and has been falsifying records in the way you try. This is hugely misleading to the ordinary reasonable person. On the 16th of November 2022, in a Facebook post, he referred to the doctor and his death trap medical centre and insert a photograph of Dr. Chauhan in his post. Well, I've quantified. Is Dr. Chauhan responsible for Royton Medical Centre? Yes, he is. Am I right to use the word to describe, have that opinion to use the word to describe Royton Medical Centre when my definition of Royton Medical Centre is a place, structure or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. Again, object to death trap. Our client denies that patients are at risk at its surgery. You allege that our clients are engaged in conduct which is likely to harm or kill another. No, that's your definition of death trap. My definition of death trap is as per the Oxford Dictionary. A place, structure or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous. So you can make up your own definition of a word and deny it, but I never accused you of that. Our clients continue to act in the best interest of their patients and provide services which are beneficial to the local community. On 16th of November 2022, you 2 further YouTube videos were published by you titled Amanda Chadderton Attempts Deflection in a Town Now Too Wise for Her Deception. And Oldham Council Deputy Mayor exposed in another scandal. Both videos refer to Royton being a death trap. You're not keen on the word death trap, but does it hurt you? Does it hurt the doctor for me to describe Royton Medical Centre as a death trap, as in a place, structure, or vehicle that is potentially very dangerous? Dr. Chauhan, your own patients believe this. The CQC, what do you think it said, Dr. Chauhan? What do you think it identified when paperwork was being signed off in the wrong way or the wrong order, when medicines weren't being checked in the way they were, when the medical boxes didn't have the right equipment, when your staff weren't DBS checked? What do you think all of that concludes to? Not calling women back for smear tests. What do you think all that means? Is it not dangerous? Is it not potentially very dangerous? Because that's what the word death trap means. Potentially very dangerous. On the 20th of November 22, you reshared the video Royton Medical Centre, blah, 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 and likened the practice of Royton as no different in its own way to turning away from a gang rape of little girls. Actually, I didn't do that. Again, I was making the point of the failure of the politicians to criticise it, and the comparison was that. Because I maintain this, that the politicians aren't criticising Royton Medical Centre, Amanda Chadderton isn't, and Jim McMahon isn't, because Dr. Chauhan is a Labour politician. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to hold that opinion. To liken our client's practice to such criminality is absolutely absurd. Well, I've not likened it to that level of criminality, have I? You're just trying to make something up. You're just trying to make something up. Undoubtedly, the false allegations made by you reach the threshold of serious harm. Well, I've not made the allegations you're claiming. They attack a medical practice and a doctor who holds a trusted position in society. Well, if he holds a trusted position in society, why is he not addressing his patients? After the CQC report was published, why did his name disappear from the webpage? Why did the names disappear from the webpage? So that's A done. B is allegations of fraud or impropriety. I make posting relating to backdating of information that I claim. No, I didn't do that. And if I did, I didn't do it in the way you're saying it. I'm trying to interpret. I'm trying to make sense of what the Care Quality Commission is saying. And if you're denying, well, fine. You also refer to Dr. Chauhan being connected with Beacon GP Care Limited. Well, he is. Company's House have him as one of its directors. You insinuate in that post that Dr. Chauhan has an interesting financial arrangement with Beacon GP Care Limited. Well, it's in the Care Quality Commission report that they belong to this umbrella group and all the rest of it with Beacon GP Care Limited. In fact, some of the staff thought they worked for Beacon GP Care Limited. And since when was saying an interesting financial arrangement is me alluding to impropriety or misconduct? Since when? I find it interesting. I find it very interesting that a senior partner of a GP surgery feels the need to outsource services via a company he owns. I find that interesting. How am I harming Dr. Chauhan's reputation by using the word interesting? How am I harming Dr. Chauhan's reputation by using the term interesting to draw attention or make reference to his links with another company who's involved in delivering services at Royton Medical Centre? Apparently it's a false allegation of impropriety. How? You've got all of that from me drawing to attention Beacon GP Care Limited that is named in the CQC report. On the 17th of November 2022, you published a YouTube video titled, "Would Punjabi samosas out of date? Brother Jamal has Bangladeshi best mates." I like that. Would Punjabi samosas out of date? Brother Jamal has Bangladeshi best mates. Within the video, there are various allegations of fraud and impropriety. Well, if they are, tell me what they were. You also refer to a cover-up conducted by politicians in relation to our client, including Dr. Cho, and further reference made to this practice as death trap. Would Punjabi samosas out of date? Brother Jamal as Bangladeshi best mates was reference to how Jim McMahon is in reference to the boundary changes, wasn't it? And the boundary changes hasn't gone through. So the Bangladeshi power base is still powerful in Royton West and Oldham West and Royton, because the St. Mary. I mean, you've all seen it. You all knew what that was about. From 16th of November 2022 onwards, you published various social media posts in relation to Dr. Cho and his connection to Bardock Limited. Whoa, 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 whoa. I knew nothing about Bardock Limited. Louis Hamblett and Councillor Kenyon, Mark Kenyon, and it was reported in the Oldham Evening Chronicle. For example, in a tweet published, you refer to Dr. Chauhan being paid directly over £20,000. Well, that was published. And received £80,000 for a company was published. Louis Hamlet and Mark Kenyon made specific reference to that. You suggest that Dr. Chauhan has failed to declare his interest in Bardock Limited? No. Louis Hamlet, Councillor Hamlet and Councillor Mark Kenyon said it. I did pull up his declarations of interests, and the section where the contracts should have been declared weren't. On the 18th of November, you reshared a link to an article posted by the Oldham Evening Chronicle. See, there you go. So I shared an article. How is that defamation? I shared a newspaper article. This article has since been deleted, yet you sought to repost a link to the Google cache page which archives deleted pages. This is a direct attempt to resurface a defamatory article which relates to Dr. Chauhan. How am I supposed to know it's a defamatory article which relates to Dr. Chauhan? Am I a mind reader? Do any of you see Oldham Evening Chronicle posting anything? An apology to say it was a defamatory article? Has anyone seen that? And furthermore, that information was published by Neil Wilby, of which Dr. Chauhan is giving the interviews to. Neil Wilby still got it up. The Lib Dems have still got it up. And the Oldham Times make reference to it. Am I a mind reader? This is a direct attempt to resurface a defamatory article which relates to Dr. Chauhan. How do I know it's a defamatory article when the information in that article is about direct payments being made to Dr. Chauhan via Bardock, and which have since exposed using public documents that have gone through line by line of over £500,000 of third-party transactions declared in submitted accounts by Bardock to Dr. Chauhan and other directors, totaling what? £1.5 million, give or take. You find it uncomfortable. You might not want it in the public domain. You might not want me talking about it. But threatening to sue me? Threatening to sue me? That's called bullying. For the avoidance of doubt, Dr. Chauhan is a director of Bardock Limited. There you go. He is a director of Bardock Limited, yet in the newspaper, he's clearly said, he's quoted as saying, Bardock is not my company. So are you now confirming Dr. Chauhan lied? Are we to believe that an educated man such as Dr. Chauhan does not know he was a director, and that being a director means it's his company? Exactly, Sally Ann. Allegations relate to a contract swabbing services being offered in the workplace, teaching individuals to swab themselves. So that's 600, 700, 800, I don't know. Best part of $1 million. You'll have to ask the council, I don't know. We know so far 600 and something thousand, don't we, so far? The swabbing services contract isn't actually doing swabbing services. What the actual content is, according to the solicitors, and here it is to teach individuals to swab themselves. So Oldham Council, according to this, and I can only interpret what the information is in front of me from Dr. Chauhan's own solicitors, is that Bardock Limited, a company he is a director of, a company he is also the declared chief executive officer of, now, but at the time, so before he became the chief executive officer, he was the chief clinical officer for Bardock, and he'd held that position for a number of years. So if I'm reading this right, this contract of 600, 700, 800, I don't know, but a substantial amount of money, is to teach individuals to swab themselves. To teach individuals to swab themselves. I think someone needs to submit a Freedom of Information request to Oldham Council to confirm exactly what they'd contracted out. Am I reading this right? Has Oldham Council funded one of Dr. Chauhan's companies, as confirmed here? Nearly £1 million, 600, 700, I don't know, but up at the other side of £500,000, definitely, to teach people to swab themselves. Well, how many people have they taught to swab themselves? Put the obvious to one side, Denise. Every pack of swabs has a printed instruction sheet, including step-by-step pictures of how to swab yourself. Put the obvious to one side. Good evening, Liam. What do you make of this? What exactly has Oldham Council paid Bardock for? Because reading this, Bardock were paid an obscene amount of money to teach people how to swab themselves. For those of you who are joining me, it's 11 o'clock. Are you still with me? Sorry, I've got carried away. I've clearly got carried away with it. Let me see how many of you are still with me. Oh no, you're still there. 251 of you. Indeed, mate. We understand that the decision was made by Bardock to bid for the swabbing services. What's any of this got to do with me? So you're not making any allegations towards me, are you? You understand that Bardock was subsequently awarded? Where have you got that understanding from? Dr. Chauhan was nothing but transparent with both the council and Bardock. So why is it not declared? Why is it not declared in the contract section of his declaration of interests? And why is the chief executive, Dirty Harry Caffrell, trying to legitimize it by saying Dr. Chauhan declared it to his close colleagues? If Harry Caffrell has said that, and he's quoted after having said that in the newspapers, not me, if Harry Caffrell has said that, then Harry Caffrell should issue a statement as to whether or not the right and proper forms were completed. It's simple. Were the right and proper forms completed? And if all of this was true, and there's nothing to see here, why would Amanda Chadderton have gone on record to have said it's important to remember that Bardock is a not-for-profit organisation? You feel foolish now, Amanda Chadderton. Did you know at the time that Bardock wasn't a not-for-profit organisation, that Dr. Chauhan was previously the chief clinical officer for Bardock? How much did he earn there? Were you aware that he was the chief executive officer for Bardock? How much money did he earn there? And were you aware that he'd claimed more than £500,000 in third-party transactions through Bardock? Not-for-profit clearly means something else to Amanda Chadderton than it does to most of us. The allegations made in the Oldham Chronicle article are false and misleading. What's that got to do with me? If the allegations in the Oldham Chronicle are false and misleading, take it up with the Oldham Chronicle. Your posts and videos which address Dr. Chauhan's relationship with Bardock and refer to payments made to Dr. Chauhan are also false and misleading. How? I've got the information from the annual accounts year after year after year from Bardock. Third-party transactions. How is that false and misleading? Dr. Chauhan has always acted with integrity and in accordance with his duties. That may be. That may be. But the accounts clearly show he's took over £500,000 in third-party transactions. Listed. Despite the deletion of the article by the Oldham Chronicle, you continue to post various tweets referring to the article, tagging both the Oldham Chronicle and Dr. Chauhan, directing readers to the cached article. What whatever solicitors fail to understand is, I am not a mind reader. If the Oldham Chronicle's article is defamatory and misleading, and if they've pulled it because it's inaccurate, then it's for the Oldham article to publish a correction. And what would ordinarily happen is the Oldham article would publish a correction on that actual article itself, updated with whatever. I'm not a mind reader. And I'll continue to use the article until the Oldham Chronicle confirm that what they wrote was false, inaccurate, misleading, defamatory, whatever it is. Allegations in relation to Medlock. You also make a series of false allegations in relation to Medlock. On the 17th of November 2022, you refer to Medlock being exposed for serious failings and facing damning criticism after an inspection by the Care Quality Commission. Multiple statutory breaches. Multiple statutory breaches. Those are serious failings, people. The CQC don't go around to doctor surgery and report them for statutory breaches. I know Jim McMahon might want to normalise it and say, ooh, this got it and that got it and something else got it. But this isn't normal. So what is that false there? Where is that false? It did face damning criticism. Further, on the 17th of November, with Punjabi samosas out of date. The title of the video also contains racist connotations and is highly derogatory. Get stuffed racist connotations. It's a metaphor. Do you understand what a metaphor is? It's a metaphor. It's in reference to the bloc vote and the power of the bloc vote and different factions within the Muslim community, the Pakistani factions and the Bangladeshi faction. If you can't pick up on that nuance, that's your own fault, but racist it is not. Since when did... Listen, you stick to being a solicitor, sweet, or whatever it is you are. Racist connotations, my ass. Highly derogatory. Well, if it's highly derogatory, I'm making reference to Brother Jamal. Brother Jamal can sue me if he wants. But Brother Jamal isn't one of your clients, is he? On the 18th of November 2022, in a Facebook post, you referred to Medlock and encouraged individuals to contact local MPs and councillors to request a public statement condemning the Labour Party politician, Deputy Mayor Dr. Chauhan, and requested that Dr. Chauhan and various leaders be summoned to hold Dr. Chauhan to account. How is that defamation? I want Dr. Chauhan, one of the most senior politicians in Oldham, who's responsible for these medical centres, to answer the questions, to meet with the patients and answer their questions. This is a democracy. I know you lot don't want it to be, but this is a democracy. And me having this position is not unlawful. Encouraging people to contact local MPs and councillors. Since when did encouraging people to contact your MP and your councillor become unlawful? Since when? On the 20th of November 22, he also posted a YouTube video titled, "With the Red Wall Rising, the Independents Take a Hiding," including various false allegations in relation to Medlock. Well, you'll have to quantify them, because you've not quantified them so far, have you? And then, finally, the attack on Dr. Chauhan's character. Across various posts, you refer to Dr. Chauhan's inadequate leadership and characterize him as a liar. Well, let's look at two things. The inadequate leadership, you stupid woman, is not from me. The inadequate leadership is from the Care Quality Commission that judged the governance as inadequate. The Care Quality Commission confirmed that, not me. That's where the word inadequate comes from. I characterize him as a liar. I don't characterize him as a liar at all. I think he's doing a very good job himself without me doing anything. You also refer to Dr. Chauhan as being bad news. Well, I think he is bad news. He's made the newspaper headlines, hasn't he? Are you going to read those newspaper stories into Royton Medical Centre and Medlock Medical Centre, or the stuff to do with Bardock, and see them as good news stories? Of course they're bad news. And since one was using the term bad news defamatory, you call him bad news? Bad news? Of course, the fact that they're now saying I characterize him as a liar means that at no point have, I love his listen to be watching these long videos and clocking out chargeable time to him. Oh my. Whilst you refer to both Reuters and Medlock, we consider the principal incentive for you posting on social media is to destroy the reputation of Dr. Chauhan. Absolutely not. I take offence to that. If my principal incentive was to destroy the reputation of Dr. Chauhan, I would have done it at any point during the last 4 years. My principal incentive is to share with the people of my town the damning findings into Royton Medical Centre and Medlock Medical Centre. And if Dr. Chauhan feels his reputation has been destroyed, it is not a consequence of me, it's a consequence of the Care Quality Commission inspection into his medical centres. All of the posts referred to above and enclosed with this letter refer to Dr. Chauhan. You refer in post to this being the end of Dr. Chauhan's political career. I believe it is. I believe this is the end of Dr. Chauhan's political career. Is that an unlawful position to have? Is that a defamatory position to have? It's an opinion. I believe it's the end of Dr. Chauhan's political career. He's the most senior doctor. He's just, he managed a health portfolio in Oldham Council. He was seen as the expert of health. When he spoke on health matters, he spoke with authority. And in his position as doctor. Yet the two medical centres that he's responsible for have both been found by the Care Quality Commission statutory breaches, both of them. So how is it on me? How is that on me? The social media posts are evidently designed to attack his credibility as a doctor. At no point have I ever attacked his credibility as a doctor. In fact, if you listen to the videos, at one point, I'm 100% certain I said, I've heard he's a decent doctor. I've heard he's a decent GP. The people who see him, who I've known him, say he's a decent GP. And constantly referring to exposing him. Well, I have, haven't I? Because prior to me bringing his role at Royton Medical Centre to public attention, many members of the public didn't know because his name had been removed from the web page at Royton Medical Centre, and I didn't do that. We consider your posts are an attempt to remove him from any public office position held. Well, campaigning against politicians, because that's what you've now shifted to, campaigning against politicians in this country is legal. It's lawful. As above, you make a number of allegations relating that the Dr. Chauhan acting improperly and engaging in criminal conduct. I don't make any allegations relating to Dr. Chauhan engaging in criminal conduct. If I had, he'd have listed them. He'd have named them. I encourage people to report Dr. Chauhan to the medical board for lying and presenting fabricated paperwork. Well, the paperwork that's been presented to the Care Quality Commission, the Care Quality Commission questioned the authenticity of the paperwork. It doesn't need me to do it. And encouraging people to report Dr. Chauhan, That's not a crime. If you feel Dr. Chauhan has come up short and he's is your doctor, in fact, is that not what Jim McMahon himself has said in his letter? Yeah. He'll take on cases on a case-by-case basis relating to doctors. What do you think he's going to do? Amanda Chadderton made reference to the severity of what can happen. In your letter, in your YouTube video posted the 13th of November, you referred to above, you state that the Dr. Chauhan's purchase of Royton Youth Centre land by auction was less than transparent. It was less than transparent, but alluding to further impropriety. Indeed, I do. I question Oldham Council. I don't question Dr. Chauhan, I question Oldham Council. Oh, look, you suggest. No, I didn't suggest anything of the sort. Dr. Chauhan was behind the decision to remove the property from the sealed bidding process because he wanted the building. No, he did want the building. It's clear he wanted the building because it's in the bloody paperwork. But I don't suggest Dr. Chauhan was behind the decision. I've been clear. I question the council. And now you're defending the council's process. Well, it's not for you to defend the council's process. I don't believe that auction was the most transparent manner when the agreed process was sealed bids. Thank you, Sheila. 2 practices and damning failures in both. For the avoidance of doubt, Dr. Chauhan is not embroiled in any scandal. Well, I'm afraid he is. Just because you want to doubt it doesn't mean that's the case. Ask the people of Oldham if he's embroiled in a scandal. Bardock is a scandal. His failure to meet with his patients is scandalous. He conducts himself in a professional manner and has not engaged in any criminal activity. I've not said he's engaged in any criminal activity. I would believe that in conducting yourself in a professional manner is when something goes wrong, you meet with the people who are affected by it and share with them how you're going to put it right. Again, that's my opinion. The seriousness of the allegations you make have far-reaching consequences for our client. And insisting he has acted fraudulently. Where have you got that from? Where have I insisted that he has acted fraudulently? Where have I accused Dr. Chauhan of fraud? I haven't. Nor have they been able to demonstrate anywhere that I have. Then they're going about defamation. Our client, and in particular Dr. Chauhan, who forms the subject matter of your smear campaign, it's not a smear campaign. If Dr. Chauhan tomorrow met with the people of Royton or the people of Failsworth and gave him the reassurance, I would have nothing but praise for Dr. Chauhan. I still want to know all about Bardock. Maybe he could, subcontract me some. I'm joking. Yeah. He's been less distraught and distressed by the false allegations made by who? What false allegations? You've not quantified any. The false allegations have already caused our client serious harm and have left employees at both Medlock and Royton seriously distressed. How am I responsible for that? Oh, here we go. The allegations has caused serious financial harm. I've caused him serious financial harm. Our clients' patients are at increased risk of believing the false allegations. What false allegations? Thank you. It's that, isn't it? Staff at Royton and Medlock have also raised a number of concerns following the publication of the misleading. Oh, now they're saying they're misleading. You can't even be consistent with your words. Are they false allegations? Are they misleading allegations? Because one isn't the same as the other. Members of staff have been left very upset. I'm sure they have. And distressed by the untrue statements. What untrue statements? Being made about their workplace. Take it up with the Care Quality Commission. Take it up with the Care Quality Commission. Multiple breaches in the inspections. They are also concerned for their personal safety when attending the workplace for fear of being targeted. Oh my God. They're fearful of their personal safety. Have I made any reference to any member of staff? Dr. Chauhan has already been forced to write to Greater Manchester Integrated Care Partnership in relation to your conduct due to worry concerning and anxiety has caused him, his family, and he's now the victim. Dr. Chauhan is now the victim. All of this would never have happened if Dr. Chauhan's name had not been removed from that Royton Medical Centre webpage, or if Dr. Chauhan had addressed the people of Royton or the people of Failsworth. But me bringing it to public attention, he is now the victim, and I've caused him and his family and staff members worry, concern and anxiety. Apparently, Greater Manchester Police have increased neighbourhood patrols in Royton as a consequence, with a priority response. On-site security presence is also being considered and kept under review. The Oldham lead for the Greater Manchester Integrated Care Partnership online campaign designed to cast doubt over Dr. John's capabilities as a doctor. Listen, the Care Quality Commission has casted doubt over the governance of the Royton Medical Centre. Is determined it to be inadequate. Not me, the Care Quality Commission. Clearly, your campaign is targeting Dr. Chauhan and his various medical practice in order to attack his credibility and encourage others to shun or avoid his services. Are you a mind reader? That's not what I'm doing at all. Is it unlawful, illegal, to go through the Care Quality Commission's report that they published online? There has also been a number of patients which have left our client's practice following the publication of your social media posts. Since the 8th of November 25 patients have left their practice and 5 patients have left Medlock. So 30 patients have left Medlock. There is no evidence to suggest that they've left because of anything I've shared that is untrue. Listen, if I was one of Dr. Chauhan's patients and I didn't know about the Care Quality Commission report, because a lot of people didn't, but I'm flattered. I genuinely am. But the failings of the Royton Medical Centre were published in the Oldham Chronicle, the Oldham Times, and they have thousands of viewers. People buy their newspapers. They have tens of thousands of viewers. If 30 people, I'm surprised only 30 people have left. I'm genuinely surprised only 30 people have left. Because if I was a patient, I'd have left. Now, you can't pin that on me, but you're trying. Clearly, the defamatory statements published by you have caused serious financial harm to our clients. There is no reasonable basis on which you will be able to defend our client's claim in defamation. I think I've demonstrated more than a reasonable basis on how I'm going to defend myself. You have made and repeated numerous times very serious allegations. No, I haven't. Provided no substantial evidence for these claims. It's the Care Quality Commission's report, not substantial evidence. We have also set out why these allegations are false and misleading. No, you haven't. You have clearly set out with the intention to harm our client's business and reputation. No, I haven't. We consider a court would agree that the false allegations reach the threshold of seriousness. Well, try it on. Try it on. Remedies. At this stage, although our client has a right to payments in damages, no they don't, we propose not to demand a damages payment in order to resolve this matter quickly. Therefore, to resolve matters without the need for an injunction or legal proceedings to be issued, our clients require you to sign the undertakings of the following. The immediate removal and permanent deletion of social media posts which refer to our client on any platform in hard copy. So what they want me to do is never speak about Dr. Chauhan again. He's a politician. I will criticize politicians. I will praise politicians. So that's what it's about. Stay quiet again. And to apologize, the contents of which are to be agreed to be posted on your social media page, including a Twitter, Facebook and YouTube page for a period of at least 28 days with a pinned apology. All that's been put in front of me. And I say this with all sincerity. If I've said anything wrong or inaccurate or in any way misleading, and they're genuine, Dr. Chauhan or his solicitors are genuine in their engagements with me, without attempting to bully me or intimidate me, I'm happy to apologise. I'll be the first to apologise. If I've said anything untoward, then please demonstrate it and I'll be the first to apologise. And after all of that, should you fail to acknowledge this letter and perform the enclosed undertakings within 48 hours, we expect to be instructed to issue proceedings against you. 48 hours, our client considers sufficient time to enable you to obtain independent legal advice should you wish to do so. I just wish Dr. Chauhan had spent a tenth of that time speaking to the people of Royton, listening firsthand to their concerns. That old lady and her friend. Same with the people of Failsworth. You're picking the wrong fight here, Dr. Chauhan. And you can take me to court if you still want. I'm not a rich man, so good luck with that. But you can take me to court if you want. And we'll go through all of this. But it's too late for you here, mate. You're picking the wrong fight with the wrong person in the wrong way. The failings at Royton Medical Centre have not been fabricated. They've been published by the Care Quality Commission. The failings at Medlock Medical Centre in Failsworth have also been published by the Care Quality Commission. Multiple breaches at both medical centres have been identified, and both medical centres belong to you. Your arrangement with Beacon, your own company that you subcontract to, or whatever the arrangement is, your own staff at Royton were unsure who they work for. I'm sure it was the same at Medlock. Your own staff at Medlock were also unsure. I'm not sure, but I'll go and have a look. But I'm pretty sure it was consistent. Come on, Dr. Chowan. When your staff don't even know who they work for. The DBS checks haven't been done at one place. There is a way through this for you. Meet with your patients. Face them. You've took money from them or via them. You're claiming I've caused you serious financial harm and you've had 30 patients leave and you're trying to pin it on me. You've got no evidence it's on anything to do with me. You've gone to this solicitor to threaten me. 79 points in a letter. And I've mocked it, and I have mocked it because it's ridiculous. The criticisms against you, they're legitimate, Dr. Chohan. You're the most senior, during COVID, people looked to you. As well as being a doctor, you were the lead member of Health and Oldham Council. Yet here it comes out, you've got, 16, 17 companies. You claim Bardock isn't your company, yet your solicitors claim it is, by saying you're the directors, because that's what it means when you're a director. Amanda Chadderton sticks her neck out for you, saying it's important to remember it's not for profit. Yet the paperwork for Bardock shows you've taken over £500,000 in third-party payments. And between you and the other directors, it's well over, close to £1.5 million. And that's separate to anything you'll earn in your paid role there, which is in addition to anything you earn in your paid role in your various GP surgeries, which is in addition to your paid roles in your other companies, which is in addition to your paid role as a counsellor. Picking on me isn't going to fix this for you. Fixing, and I'll use the word again, horrific failings at both surgeries. And I've used the word death trap because I've used it. Because I genuinely believe what the CQC found was dangerous, potentially dangerous. Don't you? Come on. Don't you think it was potentially dangerous what the CQC found? I've not accused you of hiring sex offenders. I've highlighted the danger of a practice where you've not DBS checked your staff. You know, in my life, when I've gone wrong, and we've all gone wrong, and it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror and own your failings. It's just that. It's exactly what you say, mate. Owning your failings. But then what I've found in my life is I've got people who trust me, who value me, who I value likewise, who help you regain your moral compass and remind you who you are and why you did it. I don't believe anyone becomes a doctor who doesn't care about people. I don't. I genuinely don't. I've got friends of mine who are doctors And I've seen how hard they've worked to become doctors and the crazy hours they put in. But somewhere in all of this, Dr. C, you've lost sight of what's important. So if your solicitors want to write to me, and I did write back to them, I wrote back to them something very, very simple, Sally Ann, because what they've written to me does not conform to the... there's a framework they've got to follow where they set out what I've done to who and how, and they've not done that. I mean, at one point, you can see yourself, they're representing the Oldham Times, they're representing the Labour Party, and they're legitimising, they're explaining themselves. That's not how this process is meant to work. It's meant to be very clear. I said this, I said this, I said this. This is what is defamatory with the evidence. They've not done that. You can see what they've done. I understand what they've done. With all of those words, they tried to intimidate me, they tried to bully me, and they tried to silence me. Well, they're just the next lot who've done that, aren't they? They're just the next lot who've done that. Sadly, it appears that the only way I'm going to be silenced is by forcing to take employment elsewhere. And that's because we can't get enough people to support these transmissions. I've got more content, but I'm out of time. It's 11:45. I actually promised I was going to help the Royton Independents tomorrow, try and get themselves registered so they become a political party. In between all of this, I do spend my time helping people directly, organisations, individuals. I've enjoyed it. I found purpose in it. I found value in it. And if I'm honest, it's, I've taken a lot from it. I've been able to invest myself into it. Yeah, purpose. I found purpose. So it's going to be a shame. To all of you who have committed the £50, let's see where we end up. The same with all of you who've subscribed. Let's see where we end up. There's nothing else I can say to that. Hopefully 30 of you will contact me and want to come and share a meal with me in a couple of weeks. Whatever happens, I think I'd like that. And yeah, if these transmissions are of value, and I think they are of value, I'm just bringing it up. 282 people this evening. If there are value, please consider buying me a coffee. Better still, find 5 mates, tenner each, combine to be sponsor me on the 50 by 50, or like some people have. Come forward with £25 or £50. Listen, guys, without these transmissions, you know what's going to happen, and I know what's going to happen. No one else is going to do this. No one else is going to put the hours in. And even if they did put the hours in, and I don't say this with any arrogance, I do have a set of skills. And you've all received immense value from it for the last 4 years. I bid you a very good evening. Please, if I'm on value, then you need to support me.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.